Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rebecca, but you may know me as Alchemic Fantasy from Instagram or TikTok. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I'm so happy to have you here. Grab a cup of tea or a snack, maybe your sketchbook too, and let's get into it. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my Himi gouache and my preferred method of using it and how to get over being exhausted from artwork. As somebody that's finally getting back to artwork that hasn't done it in a long time, I think it's perfectly normal to sometimes feel completely uninspired and like you just don't know what you want to do, and I think it's really important to have a good idea on how to get back to it. I think it's very easy to once you know how and what works for you, because it's different for everyone. So of course I can only talk about my own past and what worked for me and what didn't work. Please let me know in the comments what has worked for you in the past. Let's all help each other out. So I finally had a day where I was able to sit down and finally open my Himi gouache, and I absolutely adored it. I got the palette that has half cups and 36 colours in total. With these paints I was given a palette to mix my colours with and 3 paintbrushes. I have one round which is a size 4 and 2 flats which are size 6 and 8, which is perfect for somebody that's just learning how to use this medium. They don't have to go out of their way to buy other paintbrushes, they can just use the ones that they have here. I notice now that I'm using a different paintbrush, but remember why I did that, but the paintbrushes that you get with the set I think are very good. This isn't my first Himi gouache set. I did have a set a few years ago, but I haven't been able to use it for a few years, so I'm very rusty. Gouache as a medium is quite unique in the sense that you can use it very like watercolour if you water it down a lot, but you can also make it very thick and opaque depending on the kind of effect that you're looking for in your piece. I adore watercolour vibes. I think they're absolutely gorgeous, but in most of my pieces that I do myself I tend to lean more towards the opaque kind of side of things, especially with bright colours. It's just what I tend to naturally go toward. Feel free to let me know what you like yourself in the comment section, I'd love to hear. How I use this medium is I tend to water it down a lot during the first few stages and I build up the colour as I go along. The best thing about gouache is the fact that it can be reactivated with water, and also the worst thing about gouache is that it can be reactivated with water. So it's one of those things we have to be careful not to disturb the layer underneath if you do it that way, which I often do. There is a different type of gouache that you can use if you want to do layers in that way without disturbing the underneath. I'm pretty sure it's called acrylic gouache, and it's not a medium I've ever used, but it's one that I'd love to someday. So every creative person that I've ever talked to about this topic have all said they've all hit a wall and they hit a point in their life where they just didn't want to create anymore because it was just so difficult and so exhausting, and it took too much mental work to come up with the stuff that they wanted to, and because of that they were making a lot of work that was subpar or stuff that they were just pushing out rather than actually loving the piece itself. In a lot of cases it's just that you're creating for the sake of creating because you feel like you should, rather than creating because you really want to and you love creating, which in itself isn't a bad thing. It's definitely something that I try to do myself, because if I stop then I find it even harder to get back into it again. So I think if you're in that situation and you're making a lot of things because you think it's what other people would like to see, or because you're doing social media or are doing commissions for people, I think it's important to take a step back and to do something for yourself, something that you love and something that you really, even if it takes a few days, just take those few days to yourself and keep going with your creativity, because otherwise making things that you don't really love all the time will suffocate it. I would even say give yourself a rule when you feel like this, that this is for you and it's for nobody else, so you're not going to record it or show it to anyone. I just focus on yourself. A few years ago I completely stopped doing artwork, and it's something that I'm only recently getting back into. I'm really enjoying it again, which is fantastic. It's one of those things that at the time it just didn't bring me any joy, and I had so much other things going on in my life that I had to focus on that instead. But now I'm really trying to just get back into it and I'm really enjoying the process. One of the main ways that I'm getting back into it is to just do artwork that I really love and seeing where that brings me. It is one of those things as well that I wasn't uploading most of the stuff that I was doing before I started this YouTube channel. I had a sketchbook for a few weeks beforehand, and I was just kind of sketching characters and stuff that I like and hoping for the best, and yeah, it got me back into it again. Like sometimes your brain can just feel bored by everything with artwork if it's not something that you really want. It's important to listen to what's the thing that made you go, ooh, oh, I kind of want to do that, you know, and just follow that. It can be anything. It can be anything at all. In my case, it was drawing characters. I drew a few characters from Star Wars, just doodled here and there. Like sometimes I'd just draw whatever was on my mind, and it definitely worked. When I'm able to get a lot of work done over a long period of time, which is hopefully what I'm going to be doing now that I'm trying to start my art business, the best way that I can make sure that I keep doing that is to just do little bits, even if I'm not in the mood, to just keep tipping away on stuff. It is something that you have to keep an eye on because that is exactly how you get burnt out. So not only is it important to draw things that you like yourself, but it's also important for you to consume media that makes you happy. So I tend to try to look for the YouTubers that I really enjoy, that inspire, and that I love their work, and I also go onto Instagram and I do the same thing. It's one of the things that gets me in the mood. So if I'm not really feeling like artwork, I try to find an artist that I admire and see if they get me in the mood to want, if I can, of course. Although stepping back is sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself and is exactly what you need. And if I do hit a point where I'm like, okay, look, I need a few days, I can't draw right now, I always try to give myself like a day where it's like, okay, well, try to draw on this day or try to draw on the day after. It's something that works for me. I often say to my partner, just like, hey, I haven't drawn in a few days, can you just ask me if I was drawing next Friday, and see what I say. It's just so easy for me to slip into a point of not creating it all. That's something that I keep an eye on because it really doesn't work with the goals that I've set for myself this year. The design of this piece was actually just a sketch that I did on the train while going up to my partner, and I think it's really cute. So I'm also going to do some lino printing with it, which is something that I've been practicing really hard with, so I might make a video on that too. One of the ideas that I have is to just do different animals with butterfly wings, maybe in bottles and that kind of thing. I just think that it looks really nice. Let me know what you're working on yourself. I would love to see what all of you wonderful people are working on. And if you got this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you for being here and for watching my videos. Maybe say hi in the comment section below if you don't mind. I would love to hear from you. And if you enjoy my content so far, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that too. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye!